Good morning, everyone. Very warm welcome to the Scottish Wedding Show and the Let's Talk Tying the Knot stage. I'm Beth Forsyth. I edit wedding magazine Tie the Knot Scotland. You can pick up a copy at the end there, or come up and chat to us on stand G58. We're happy to chat about all your lovely wedding plans. So we've put together a programme of informative talks and Q&As from some of Scotland's leading wedding industry experts that will hopefully offer lots of practical advice and guidance on the way to the top of the aisle. The area has been beautifully styled by Get Knotted, who are here this weekend on stand E50. So wedding dress shopping, hands up if it's the part of planning your wedding you're most excited about or most nervous about. For some brides-to-be, saying yes to the dress might be the moment they've dreamed of since they were a little girl. For others, though, it could be filled with a bit of trepidation, especially when shopping for a wedding dress isn't exactly like nipping to Zara to get a dress for a night out. Most brides want their dress to represent their personal style and tie in with their wedding plans, but how do you even go about that? So we've got Rachel Snedden here from Rachel Scott Couture. She's going to talk through the options for customisation and all the ways her and her talented team can make your wedding dress truly you. A wee bit about Rachel Scott Couture. You'll find them here on stand E36, which is over there. They're celebrating an amazing 21 years in business this year and are at the forefront of couture retailing in Scotland. Rachel personally hand selects each piece in the collections and puts her customers' happiness at the centre of every decision she makes. She's got a trusted reputation for excellence, styling and design innovation. She knows what it takes to style and complete the bridal look. Plus, every pieces are selected from designers like Vivienne Westwood, who we're going to show later on, and the beautiful Danielle Frankel. Brides can be confident about receiving an individually tailored luxury product. The Rachel Scott Couture experience doesn't end at bridal though. In 2024, they opened a second boutique focusing on couture occasion and event wear, which we're going to talk about today a little as well. So Rachel, without further ado, over to you.
Thank you. What an introduction, no pressure. I think in terms of styling your look, as I was saying, I think it's really important, certainly I think it's the most important thing is to get your personality through your wedding look. And there's obviously an awful lot of information out there and a lot of new stuff, and I think that's certainly most of my clients come in really nervous. It's not they expected that you're going to come in and just be, this is so exciting and fabulous and I know exactly what I'm after. That's not our level of expectation. So we play around with different ideas, explore some options and find out what you're most comfortable with. This is a new shopping experience. So and the assumption is that you're not going to come in going, do you know, last week when I got married, this is what I wore and I know that worked really well. Or so everybody is starting from the same place. Even actually, to be honest, if you know what you're after, we're still starting from the same base place. So playing around with ideas, get your personality in through the look. And I know we're going to talk about generally 3 ways that you can style your look. But actually for me it's almost 3 times that you can style your look through the whole process. One would be accessorising options through that. The other would be having something made to order. This is some of the jargon words you're going to hear a lot of. Having something made to order and then having something made to measure. Made to order and made to measure are 2 completely different things. But actually I'm going to start at the other end with the finishing touches. So I think this is probably the way that most people would think about styling your look. So say, for example, this dress here, Danielle Frankel, New York designer that we're now working with. Fabric is amazing. Everybody has to have a feel of this fabric before you leave the show, okay? So having something like this, thinking, I really love that style, but actually I'd like something more impactful for the ceremony than doing something like this halfpenny overskirt. Do you know, it's just, I say a simple kind of concept, but not one that you necessarily have thought about. So being able to have this overskirt, we put on a little belt, we can have it made in the same fabric, so that you can get this really dramatic look for the ceremony, but still have slinky glam for the evening. Kate, halfpenny as well is actually bows are her trademark. I think every season they get bigger. I'm a little bit concerned about what's going to happen for next season, but every season they get bigger. But thinking about whether you're having a bow through the back, I mean, play with things. That's one of the reasons why we always do private appointments, is so that we can really have a proper play and get things right and get things wrong. Even me, having done this for 21 years, there'll be times when we put something together, let's try this, and go, oh, actually, no, that's too much. Let's pare it back or change it round. Equally, I'm going to use the word tiara, but I know it's often like a banned word, but doing something like this, play around with accessories, the jewellery pieces I hand make, so we can really play with what shapes you're going for, scale, doesn't have to be this, but again, being able to like play and personalise your look through that way.
Yes.
So that's almost at like the final stages, I would say. What we really specialise in is made to measure. Now, I will harp on about made to measure until I'm like blue in the face. It's so important that, in my opinion, that you have something that just fits incredibly. There's nothing more amazing than something that's just beautifully fitted. I think we're all used to fudging the lines with clothing and being able to go, okay, I know this doesn't fit perfectly, but if I buy a bigger size, pop on a belt, that kind of gives me the right kind of look. There are some things that you just can't change once a dress is made. Cup size is the big thing, or the small thing, and then proportions, body length. So if you're particularly tall or if you're petite, this is something that you're used to doing, and so the assumption is that you just need to make it work somehow. And I'm saying to you, no, you don't. We just make it fit. So, made to measure is, for me, it's an absolute must, and it's how you get your personality through. It's not about compromising. None of the stuff that we do is about compromising. For your wedding dress, I want your expectations to be so unrealistically high, and then your wedding dress has to be better than that. Okay, any other walk in life, don't use that rule, but like in wedding dressing, it has to be that incredible. And being able to do it now for mothers of the bride, mothers of the groom, wedding guests is brilliant as well. That my mothers have been asking me to do this for 21 years, but finally we have it's got its own independent space. So having something made to measure. The made-to-order side of things, what we do is being able to introduce your personality before the dress is even made. So we can play around with it, accessorising at that end, but actually we can do it before it's even constructed. So has anybody heard of a toile? Has anybody heard of the word toile? No. Okay, I'm going to show you what a toile is. So this is a toile. So this is basically a mock-up of somebody's dress. So it allows you, in the right measurements, fully made to measure, but what it does is allow us to go, okay, we know we want this dress, for example, but actually I'd rather it had straps. And I'm worried that the front is going to be too low. So we have it made in the right measurements, and then we fit this to you. So literally putting this on you and going, actually, now that you see it, how does that front feel? Does the front feel like it's too low? Do we want it a little bit higher? Do we want the straps a little bit wider? All of that, being able to do that, so introducing your personality before the dress is even made. So, adding in, like I literally put the toile on you, and we could be adding in little bits of extra fabric, maybe playing around with sleeves, but it really does, it's such an extra couture step, but it really does allow you to introduce your personality all the way through in terms of styling, but also in terms of fit. For example, when we're talking about made to order, these two dresses, both Suzanne Neville, the skirts are basically exactly the same. The two dresses look entirely different, but the two skirts are exactly the same shape, construction, but being able to get actually, I really like the band of this section, but I'd rather have the beading of this one, and actually I'd quite like a sleeve. This is not the time to compromise. Okay, it's really, your wedding dress has got to be so perfect, and I know this is not standard bridal, so anything I say here is purely just the way that we work, but it is about making sure that you get it right from the word go.
Perfect.
I'm keen to know if anybody's got any questions.
The right answer.
Stick your hand up and I can run out to... No? I've got a question, Rachel.
Okay.
What sort of timeline would you suggest for each of the made-to-order, made-to-measure processes?
And I suppose the thing I would also add in with the jargon words is, I have a lot of knowledge. My whole team does. We all come from a tailoring background, but you don't need to remember any of these words. We are always very much like, no rules. We do it your way. There's no pressure. You can take photos if you want. You can take time that you want. Timescales is another one as well. Whatever time we've got, we'll make it work. I'd much rather that somebody just did something at their own pace, not rushing or not feeling rushed, to be able to sort of go, actually, this is how long I've got, so we'll just make it work. Or I shouldn't say our record out loud, actually.
No, you did say it yesterday and I was shocked at how short that was.
Yeah. It was literally days to have a fully couture dress made with the trowel. And bearing in mind that this is Suzanne Neville, Vivienne Westwood, Daniel Franco, so this is just what we do. But yeah, if we've got a little bit longer than a week, that's great. Once we start having to rely on couriers to do things as opposed to just me and my designers, but I would say go shopping when you're ready to choose your dress. And again, everybody's so different, whether some people want to go 2 years in advance, some people want to do it like a few months in advance. Think about, and I suppose going back to how you style, adding your personality into the dress, how do you add your personality into the whole shopping experience would be really important for me. Like I said, if you want to take photos, if you want to bring 12 people, if you want to come by yourself, it's whatever. Do it your way.
Fantastic. Well, Rachel will hang about for a few minutes, so feel free to come up here and chat on a one-to-one basis, and she'll be here all weekend over on stand E34.
Oh, I didn't show the bagatelle, did I?
Oh, the veil, no, and the Vivienne Westwood as
Poor
well.
little Vivienne Westwood didn't get a showing. This is like, if you're doing a second look, this is like so much fun.
Are you finding a lot of brides are going for the second look these days?
Yes, but less about that they're doing it just to have a second look. It's more about that you just want to actually just play. And I think people are looking forward to just enjoying, like, being themselves, having that personality. So and properly indulging, have something enormous for the ceremony, and then change into one of these little party frocks for evening.
We should probably show the statement veil as well.
Oh yes,
that
veils is another thing. Again, everything bespoke, everything made to order. This is Neem Khan, a New York designer. But again, so thinking about layering up your look, so you don't have to have it all worked out all in the one go. If you find the perfect dress, don't feel that you suddenly have to have everything worked out exactly the same time. Often with our clients, it is a real process, and one that you can play around with and change as you go. But this is just incredible.
Gorgeous, really is. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Rachel.